from tax abatements for corporations that really don't benefit the residents.
And I don't want to see data centers here. Our town, if you look around, already has a water problem. We don't need to see more water going to something like a data center.
City Council for the better part of the last year and a half, 2 years, and I've never heard anything about AI data centers, windmills, nothing getting put in the Hill County. Now, I want to know how all those data centers were able to get approved. That's my question. I don't know if anybody here has heard or had heard of any of those data centers getting approved. I was unaware of this meeting until the other day when somebody told me, hey, this meeting was found out to be going down in place, didn't happen there, now it's happening here. Elected officials, they come and go, but residents will always be here. We don't want this, we don't need it, nobody's happy about it. So if this is an elected board, everybody take note, pay attention. Who's going against us? Who's going against the residents of Hillsboro? You know, it's just we all want better for our town. Take it into consideration and let it be known that the citizens of Hillsboro don't want this. The citizens of Hill County do not want these data centers.
And another thing is, Ms. Sawyer, I saw a post where you said that everybody's got the right to do what they want with their land, right?
Yes.
And so, since you at this board here control that land over there, it's in your hands not to sell that land to a data center. So, are you going to be good stewards for Hill County and for these citizens here in Hillsboro that say no to a data center? Or is all you're going to worry about is how much money you're going to all make off of this? Or how much money the city is going to get off of this?
Tony, I'm sorry, what? Oh, you guys know it. I don't need to state it. Under the Fourth Amendment, I don't need to give my name or my address. So, way to try to violate my rights. Thank you, Jessica. So, anyways, back to what that gentleman said. I'd like my 3 minutes back since she interrupted me, please. Give me my time back.
Yeah.
And that's what the EDC doing here. Y'all a bunch of corrupt individuals because you all benefit yourselves and not the taxpayer. They pay for it. You benefit from it.
I'm taking exception to that. I am not corrupt.
You're not allowed to speak during my time. Don't talk during my time. Rules of decorum. You're violating the rules of decorum, sir. Rules of decorum. Rules of decorum. You're violating it. Charles. I'm done.
Tyranny, corruption, extortion. Sunlight is the best disinfectant.
BZ Watchdog News Network.
Oh, would you look at that? The people of Hillsboro finally showed up. Not 5, not 6, but 10 to 15 speakers lined up on April 24th to say the same thing loud and clear. We don't want your data centers. But don't worry, this wasn't some meaningful democratic process or anything. No. This was just a nice little formality, a rubber stamp, a checkbox. Because apparently decisions that affect an entire town get handled like a fast food order behind closed doors. Now let's rewind for a second. This meeting, the one on the 24th, that was only happening because the original April 21st meeting got shut down after somebody, posted the wrong address on the agenda. Funny how transparency works when someone's actually paying attention, right? And suddenly, boom, new meeting, no location, same agenda, same outcome already baked in. And the turnout? Packed. Absolutely packed. More people than I've ever seen at a Hillsboro City Council meeting. And guess what? That same morning, the Hill County Commissioner's Court was also packed with citizens furious about the same exact issue. But I'm sure that's just a coincidence, right? Because there's absolutely no reason to question how the county and the EDC might be working together, especially when the county attorney, David Holmes, just so happens to sit in on the EDC board. Yeah, nothing to see here, folks. Totally normal. Meanwhile, citizens are standing there saying, we already have water problems. We didn't even know this was happening. Who approved this? Why are you selling us out? And what do they get in return? Interruptions, rules of decorum, microphones getting controlled, and the classic government move. Shut it down, adjourn the meeting, and run out of the building. No executive session, no real discussion, no accountability. Just thanks for your comments, we'll be ignoring. Just thanks for your comments, we'll be ignoring all of that. And let's not forget the timing. The night before this meeting, people dealing with water issues. But hey, don't worry about fixing infrastructure. We've got data centers to subsidize. We've got tax abatements to hand out. We've got deals to make and pockets to line. Because nothing says serving the public like raising rates on residents while giving sweetheart deals to corporations that don't even live here. And then, the moment that says it all, tyranny, corruption, extortion. That was me saying it. That was your neighbors saying it. That was the citizens of Hillsboro saying it. And just to make sure nobody could pretend this didn't happen, even KXXV TV reporter Chantel Belafonte showed up. Yeah, when the local news starts paying attention, you know it's getting bad. So buckle up, because today we're going to break down exactly what happened when the citizens of Hillsboro showed up and their own officials made it crystal clear. The decision might already be made, and the public, just an inconvenience. Before we get into it, smash that like button, drop a comment, share this everywhere, and follow the channel, because sunlight is the best disinfectant. And I'm your boy BZ. Let's get into the video.
On our agenda where we ask for public comments. So I'll ask you all to speak one at a time loudly. Introduce yourself and your address. Name and address, please. And we'll limit comments to 3 minutes as we do at the council meeting.
Can everybody hear? No. Okay, at the beginning of the agenda is a time when the board will hear public comments. So we would just ask that people speak one at a time, introduce yourself, name, address, and then each person will have 3 minutes to say whatever you'd like to say. And if you want to, there's not really a formal order, so if you just want to just speak one at a time, please. Sure, and if you would stand, that would probably help the board hear you, and it will help everybody else know whose turn it is.
Hi, my name is Herbert Leal. I live in Hillsboro, 215 Lane. I would like to know what our new comprehensive plan has to do with these data centers going up. That's part one of the question. Part two of the question is, what is Watchdog, Heart of Texas Council of Governments, unelected officials, come together to make non-legislative decisions that affect us all? So it's kind of a two-part question. What does our comprehensive plan have to do with this situation, with the new data centers going up? Solar farms, windmills, everything. Can anybody?
So just like in Council and Commissioners Court, the board is not addressing what we're hearing and everything, and that's why you have 3 minutes to speak.
Okay.
I've written those down, and I believe you were reading, I can connect to after maybe you know, we can have some follow-up conversation.
Absolutely, thank you. And the second part was the hot dog, yeah. Thank you. Because we do have an elected council that I don't think people know about. It's called a regional council, called Heart of Texas Council of Governments. Okay, just let you know that. A lot of people don't know that. Thank you.
I'm Richard Trawick. I just want to thank you guys for doing what you're doing. It's a tough job, and all of us appreciate what you all do. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Isaacs. I live on Franklin Street. I'm not a public speaker, so I'm just going to read off the paper. My family and I moved here in 2019, and we've grown to love this town. We own a business in town, and I homeschool our 4 kids. We love the community they get to be surrounded by. That being said, why are we even considering a data center? Our city's infrastructure feels like it's already hanging on by a thread, with water line breaks and busted up roads. In fact, last night I got a call for water to be shut off due to water line breaks downtown. We receive these almost monthly. What's going to happen when 5 million gallons of water are running through those lines a day because of a data center? Even in a closed loop system, water is needed to generate a data center power plant. Then there's the chemical runoff that gets dumped into our town's wastewater. It means more chemicals in our water, which leads to higher water rates, more stress on our already stressed out water lines. Water and electricity prices will go up. All you have to do is look at other towns who are already living in these data centers to find the proof. I just read an article from Ohio. Data centers there have been there in their state for about 10 years. They are now coming out with data suggesting these infrastructures are causing lung damage and premature deaths. We need to be concerned about our kids. Their futures are what we're deciding. Texas does not have enough regulation on data center pollution. We need to slow down and wait. After the data center summit, Ms. True in an interview said, and I quote, "So if we can get some largely funded, largely property tax funds out of a larger space with a smaller footprint, that kind of offsets those larger jobs that we're recruiting in other parts of town." I'm sorry, but a data center does not have a small footprint. This type of business is going to tear down our infrastructure and what for 5 to 10 jobs? And we'll be lucky if those jobs are local jobs. We need to be patient, hold on to our land until something comes that we can trust, that will benefit our town and the working people that live here. I see on the agenda number 11, is regarding a contract with Provident data center developer. I have 2 questions. Has a decision already been made to sell this land to them? And are we going to be discussing this amendment publicly today? Or is this an executive session decision? We need transparency. I would like to know why we're shifting away from the traditional vision for Hillsboro and why we're going to an aggressive infrastructure. All right, I'll skip. I know we're trying to figure it out, keep Hillsboro going, but we're supposed to be in this together. And I'm begging you, bring in other safer, more sustainable industries. Stay away from the data centers, do your research. The money might look good on the surface, but in the long run, it's gonna ruin our sweet town. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
I'm John Lee, I live on 1309. I moved to Hill County last year from Dallas to get away from this sort of stuff, from tax abatements for corporations that really don't benefit the residents. I'm retired now. I spent my career as a firefighter, and I can tell you that the entire county of Hill County is not prepared for a fire, a coolant leak, or any kind of major incident that happens at something the size of that data center. And I'm opposed to encouraging large corporations to come here and really minimal benefit to the county that I moved to. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sadie Bunky. I live here in Hillsboro. I've lived here since 2013. And like this gentleman, part of the appeal of living here is to have gotten away from all of that. And I don't want to see data centers here. Our town, if you look around, already has a water problem. We don't need to see more water going to something like a data center. And I agree with what was said. It's not a little footprint. It's huge. It's going to be a big deal and a big problem. And the point in living here is to get away from that and to be, where you can still see farmland and animals. If I wanted to live in Dallas, I'd live in Dallas. I don't want to put up with that. And we have water problems here already, as has been mentioned. We can't keep the water going downtown. Why are we considering a big infrastructure that's going to take more water and resources when we can't keep the water running on Chow Street? Thank you.
Hello, my name is Andre Yukon, and as a leadership Greater Hillsboro graduate, I have an intimate understanding of our water infrastructure. And I just want to say that our city has a history of foresight. We have great leadership, and I encourage our leadership, our current leadership, to continue to think about the future. As a business owner downtown, running a nonprofit that charges nothing for admission, I think it's important to think about the growth of our city and the resources that we provide. As a former environmental project manager, I have a lot of reservations about this type of business. I was employed full-time to remediate the types of disasters that these businesses cause. I work closely with TCEQ and many other governmental and state bodies to solve the problems that the unanticipated results of these businesses caused. But I want to take a moment to praise those city leadership. Thank you for having these forums. Thank you for listening to the citizens of Hillsboro and Hill County. Please know that the decisions that you make today, they don't just affect next week, next month, next year. We're talking about generational impacts. And I've worked in that business directly as an environmental project manager. And I know that inheritable genetic damage happens from mutagens. I'm not saying that there's mutagens present in this project, but I'm saying that there are a lot of fine print details that are not publicly advertised. The things that happen in communities like ours can have effects lasting to second and third generations. Please be wary. Please understand the responsibility of the decision that you have to make today. Economic impact is not always the most important thing. Our community is special. We've always been an island of independence in Hill County. It's true. Our regional hospital, all of our agricultural business, we have stood as a shining example of what a community can do together. Let us continue to do that with principle and integrity. Thank you.
You know, I got to give my 2 cents. First off, I love how you guys don't even follow the agenda. Number 2 items. Did you guys even do a roll call?
Yes, we did.
Okay, we didn't hear you over here. We heard meeting call to order and public comment. Go ahead and keep mocking me over there, Natasha. I got that on video, so go ahead and keep it up. First off, going back to that gentleman's comment about the fire. Tony, I'm sorry, what? Oh, you guys know it. I don't need to state it. Under the 4th Amendment, I don't need to give my name or my address. So, way to try to violate my rights. Thank you, Jessica. So, anyways, back to what that gentleman said. I'd like my 3 minutes back since she interrupted me, please. Give me my time back. So, back to what that gentleman said about fires. Mr. Tony Kane failed his fire inspection these last couple of years and trying to get it up to par. So, he's got a really valid point. Hillsboro can't manage their fire department. County don't have the resources. What happens if something happens with the data center? And you guys want to put 2 in, 3 in? I mean, we know what's going on. We know that you guys are going to go ahead and bring your buddies in to build the stuff and do some backdoor deals. We know what's going on with you guys over at Citizens Bank and Hill College. You know who I'm talking about. But anyways, this frontier waste stuff y'all about to get talked about, if it's anything higher than that 5%, you guys should not be going back in there to discuss that. We talked about it at City Council. You were MIA from that City Council meeting, by the way. So was the mayor who's sitting over there. But yeah, as far as Megan Henderson raising rates, you guys keep penalizing the taxpayer. Why do we keep raising water rates, trash rates, water taps, all this other stuff, and you're gonna go ahead and give all that tax money to a company that you're trying to solicit, okay? For what benefit? There is no benefit to give away tax-paying dollars when you can't get your grant for the water. You've tried several times. You can't get the money. Why are you continuing to give it away? It's not your personal piggy bank, okay? You act like it is. And that's what the EDC doing here. Y'all a bunch of corrupt individuals because you all benefit yourselves and not the taxpayer. They pay for it. You benefit from it.
I'm taking exception to that. I am not corrupt.
You're not allowed to speak during my time. Don't talk during my time. Rules of decorum. You're violating the rules of decorum, sir. Rules of decorum. Rules of decorum. You're violating it. Charles. I'm done. As long as he's done, I'm done.
He said he's done.
My name is Vanessa. I moved here about 2 years ago from a busy city that I'd like to not return to. Kind of looking forward to learning more about Hillsboro, but I'm definitely in opposition of any data centers in our city. So, yeah, welcome to the area.
I'm Gretchen. Similar, I moved here a couple years ago. I specifically moved to this area to hear the birds in the trees. Data centers, I don't know how much research y'all have done, but the noise that they produce is so detrimental to all the animals and everything in the area that it really is just a very negative thing. It's also harmful to the people in the area. And I understand that data centers go out to the country because they interact with fewer and fewer neighbors out here, but the impact on those neighbors is not any lessened because it's 5 people instead of 500. The issues are outstanding in terms of the fire potential, any kind of resources donated to this place in terms of taking from the residents. We're getting water restriction notices and we are already on such minimal water usage that we can't properly take a shower without thinking about it. We time everything. We collect rainwater because luckily in the state of Texas, we are allowed to do that, unlike other states. My daughter lives in Ohio. She is actually fundamentally impacted by the data centers in her area in terms of the water usage, the noise pollution, the impact on all the wildlife in the area that is causing all of that wildlife to now move out of the area and impact those surrounding areas. It's not just the fact that you guys might get some sort of corporate whatever words you want to apply to all of that. It is not beneficial for our town. I specifically love this area because it has been such a holdout and unique. They pointed out all the wonderful things of this area, and those are the reasons that we all live here, and we want to continue to do so in peace. And this is not what our town wants. And if there is some sort of benefit to our town from this, that is the reason you guys are pushing for it, or anybody is, what are those benefits and how can we achieve those in a much better way? I sit on city council for Carl's Corner and I'm very much so interested in having a positive impact in this area and with my community and getting to know everybody as neighbors and support one another, because that's how we solve problems like this, not inviting a corporation to come in and take all of our resources, which are already so strained. Like, I'm sorry my voice is shaking because this is such a fundamental human impacting problem that can't even be considered. The data is out there to prove how detrimental these are. I'm not against AI and data centers in general. I just think they need to be far more regulated and mitigated than they are. And there is nothing to sustain the proof of bringing one in. There is not benefit. There is nothing but proven research out there of how harmful this is going to be. And it cannot be done in good conscience.
Not much for speaking out, so this is hard for me. My name is Christina. I live just outside of town on 2421. Something that not everybody's talked about. Everybody's concerned about the water, but no one's talked about how it's going to impact your utility bills, your electric bills. New infrastructure has to be built for these things. And who's going to pay that rate upgrade? We are. All of us. How expensive is your electric bill right now? It's going to go up. There's no way to stop it if you bring that in. So you gotta think about your electric bill. It's not just your water.
My name is Denali. I live in Hillsboro. I'm asking the same question. Why are you guys doing this? I know you're trying to bring in revenue. I understand pretty much are opposed to this. And I would challenge you to take a vote, because this is very impactful to all of us, not just people around that one particular data center. We've already got 2 ongoing, and you want to put a 3rd one. Want to get a water meter is already $30,000? That's insane. Not to mention the most important thing, like these people say we already have data on the health impacts. People have seizures, hair loss, skin problems, like every kind of detriment. I thought you people were supposed to be protecting the people. Like, I understand you probably need revenue, but we can think of more creative ideas. Why don't we have forums on that to create revenue in a different way? Like the rest of us, this will affect our livestock. Even the Texas Agricultural Commissioner says they should not be in farmland. You're taking up our farmland, and it is highly detrimental to all of the animals. It warms, I think it's 14 degrees, it warms up the earth. There's nothing about this that people that live in this town want to see that this produces. Like, it is highly detrimental in every aspect of our way of life, and we don't want this. And I would challenge you to take a vote to see who citizens, who wants this and who doesn't before we move forward. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I'm going to follow up what she said. I know no one that lives here that wants this data center. There are too many negatives, not enough water, too many health risks. We want our nature preserved around here. We want our farmland preserved. We want to take care of the livestock. We want to grow our gardens. We want to keep the bees. We want to keep the birds. No one wants this. And you know, we're good neighbors here in Hill County. We are good to each other. We take care of our neighbors. And that is all I'm asking of you people. Take care of your neighbors. Thank you.
I would just like to know, you probably have people, Jan Barnes. I would just like to know, and I'm sure probably most of the people in here would like to know, how are those data centers, how are they going to benefit us? From what I've been reading, they're proposing 7 of them within a 50-mile radius. I mean, why do we need 7 of them? We don't have the water. They're saying, oh, we're going to get it from the rain. Well, so far this year, we might have gotten 5 inches of rain. And they say those things use like 25,000 gallons of water a day. I mean, I have animals. I don't want to have to run the risk of my cows losing their calves because of the stuff coming off this. They put a solar farm about 3 miles as the crow flies from where I live. I live out in the country. I mean, from my house to the gravel road is a half a mile. It's not because there's a lot of people there, and I can feel my house vibrating, and I can hear this roaring, and I'm about half deaf. But we don't need this stuff. I mean, if they want to put the data centers up, then put them out in the desert where they're not getting our farmland, our pastures, and everything else. And most of the people that are for all this stuff, they're the ones that are selling their land, are politicians. I mean, it should be what we want that should matter, not what somebody that's going to get money in their pocket.
Rigo Reyes, I have a few things to say. So, I've been going to the city council meetings for the better part of the last year and a half, 2 years, and I've never heard anything about AI data centers, windmills, nothing getting put in the Hill County. Now, I want to know how all those data centers were able to get approved. That's my question. I don't know if anybody here has heard or had heard of any of those data centers getting put in before they went in. That was my main concern. I was unaware of this meeting until the other day, and somebody told me, hey, this meeting was found out to be going down in place, didn't happen there, now it's happening here. So y'all, this is only a small portion of the residents of Hill County.
The ones that can be here.
The ones that can be here at 12 o'clock on a Friday. Most people work 9 to 5 or 6 to 6. You know, they're not happy. This is only a small portion of our residents. Elected officials, they come and go, but residents will always be here. We don't want this, we don't need it, nobody's happy about it. Whatever action y'all take, I mean, everybody sees who's here. I don't know exactly what board this is to begin with. I really don't. Nobody's happy about it. So if this is an elected board, everybody take note, pay attention. Who's going against us? Who's going against the residents of Hillsboro? You know, it's just we all want better for our town. Take it into consideration and let it be known that the citizens of Hillsboro don't want this. The citizens of Hill County do not want these data centers. That's all I have.
Yes, hello, I'm Linda Paul. Even though I do not live in Hillsboro, I'm a part of the group Save Hill County, which we are also a part of the Texas Coalition Against Data Centers. I want to encourage each one of you that has listened to the mouths move of these data center people. You have to be smart enough to know what they're telling you, for the most part, is never the truth. So do your due diligence and look into these things. And for those of you on the panel that it's been said out in public, a lot of us have heard that basically, you know, we're just radicals and we don't know what we're talking about. Well, I can assure you people, we do know what we're talking about. So pick up your phone, call some of these people in these other states that are suffering from severe health crisis. Google Amazon data center in the area where all the people now are having rare cancers. And another thing is, Miss Sawyer, I saw a post that you said that everybody's got the right to do what they want with their land, right?
Yes.
And so since you at this board here control that land over there, it's in your hands not to sell that land to a data center. So, are you going to be good stewards for Hill County and for these citizens here in Hillsboro that say no to a data center? Or is all you're going to worry about is how much money you're going to all make off of this? Or how much money the city is going to get off of this? It's in your hands. And then what you also need to realize is this. When this all goes down the wrong way and people are ill, blood's on your hands. You decide if you can lay your head down on your pillow at night and go to sleep. I see you smiling, Miss Sawyer, so apparently you can. So thank you very much.
Okay, so moving on to the next agenda item.
Can y'all speak up, please?
All right, we're on item number 5, review and approve meeting minutes from March 18th, 2026.
Second.
Mike, any other discussion on that? All in favor? Item 6, we have some discussion regarding Frontier Sport Logistics.
Y'all all doing a great job. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Stakeholders and
is the final version of our previous conversations and deliberations. Mr. Cook presented in open session to this group, and this is again regarding expanding the railroad track, and some of that is on HEC land or right of way, which is why they need us to work with them to do that. So that is, any questions on that?
The only question is the work going to affect ICO's extension? Do we know if ICO's railroads approved, so?
I think Taxpayer was going to support others that were first. So I know they're aware of it. Whether they impact on it? Yeah, and that's what you be in the agreement that, it has to.
Yes, in here, they put in move from 3 days of service to 5 days of service. That would actually be this.
Oh, benefit.
The roll speak up, please. And there were 2 bills that changed in the agreement.
Are y'all purposely looking?
No. She was making sure.
We're gonna have to keep it down over here, and then if y'all can just speak up a little bit as well, because everybody's having a hard time here, so both of y'all.
Great, thank you, Marcus. I will speak up.
Okay, we were just confirming that this was in fact the final version, making sure there were no other errors. That was the only clarification. I apologize for not hearing that.
All right, any other discussion regarding that?
I do hate to be that person, but you've been asked 3 times to speak up and you get quiet every time. We've gotten quiet every time we ask you all to speak up, and it really feels intentional at this point, and I know that that's not the case. None of you intentionally try to do that, so I just want to make sure this is the last time I have to ask anybody to speak up. Thank you.
Okay, well, I don't think I can speak up real good sitting down, so I'm gonna stand up.
Thank you.
But
Thank
was
you.
there a motion for that, to that effect?
I move we approve the agreement with Frontier Logistics for the real estate holdings for the railroad track construction.
I second the motion.
Thank you, Mark. All right, any further discussion regarding that? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you very much. All right, our next agenda item 7 is discussion and possible action regarding updates to the terms. Number 1.
You have my latest updates to search number 1 in your packet. We will not be taking action on it today because it is not complete. I have been working on updating some of the projections. I've updated some of the, all of the projects in the project plan with dollar amounts that reflect the year that we are in and not the year that they were put in there. So I'm continuing to work on that. There are some sections that I highlighted where if you guys have any notes from when this was created, specifically to projected investments, and what all was included in that, because it gives kind of a total number, but not necessarily all that was included, because I want to make sure that I'm including those things, but not assuming that they weren't included and then counting twice or anything like that. So yeah, the highlighted sections, and then please continue to review that plan. If you have any feedback, please give it to me. And there is, I'm sorry, an updated map to include in the tours the land that the EDC purchased and annexed in to the city limits.
All right, discussion, we're on item number 8. Discussion and possible action regarding staff access to banking information.
So we got a deposit in our account that we could not figure out what it was, and our financial director was asking me, and so I called them because you guys are all volunteers, and I hate to ask you to get on the phone with banks in the middle of the day, especially when you don't work there. And so, this is just, they needed in the minutes for me to be able to access it, for you guys to essentially say what I can access it for, which would just be to, provide records, and have no actual money. That's
So do we need to make a motion? Is that what you're saying? We need
What did
to,
they say they needed?
They just said that they needed it in the minutes, so if we can have discussion on it.
did we approve you having ability to access the information but not write checks? Is that it essentially?
I propose a motion.
We need to have a motion on this.
Okay, so Bill makes a.
I made the motion to give you access to view the account and the information.
I second.
Thank you, Mike. Any further discussion on that motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
The next item on the agenda is executive session to vote on items 10 and 11. 11, we will not be voting on. That was a amendment to the contract with Polar Peak, but instead of having that amendment, they have exercised in writing their 45-day ability to extend the existing contract, and so that's where we're at with that. And I'm going to share that with everyone. So there's no need for any action on that. If there is need for any further discussion on the Provident amendment, then we can move into executive session.
What are your thoughts? We will not take.
Is everybody ready to vote on that, or do you want to have further conversation?
Fine with discussions right here. I mean, all it is the ability to extend the land, hold on the land. It's not to authorize any building or doing anything, just give them a 3 month lease to determine if they, a 4 month lease to determine if they even got a building. This could be anything.
Yeah, so just for public information, there is a contract between the EDC and Provident, which is a data center developer. So they can already purchase our land. Us not doing this amendment means that we can close on it sooner, actually. But this is for the purpose of them continuing to do exactly that due diligence to make sure that if they do come here, it is something that the city wants and can support. Conversations are ongoing. This does not allow a data center to be built there.
Move we give it the 4 months.
You got a second?
I second.
Thank you, Charles. Any further discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? start the meeting, so we can.
I'm happy to answer it, it's just not part of the meeting, and so I'm happy to talk to you after this.
You can start the meeting.
Yeah, I feel like a closed meeting, we can discuss.
So no closed session? You got an extra packet? Thank you. So let's recap what we just watched. Citizen after citizen stood up. Farmers, business owners, retirees, environmental professionals, and said the same thing. We don't want this. We don't need this. This is going to destroy our infrastructure, our water, and our way of life. And not one of those concerns was crazy. Not one of them was uninformed. They were talking about water shortages, rising utility bills, environmental damage, and zero real benefit to the people actually living there. But here's where it gets real interesting. Buried right there in a meeting, a contract with a data center developer, Provident. Oh yeah, not a rumor, not speculation, a real agreement already in place. They even admitted it. There's a contract between the EDC and Provident. They can already purchase the land. So let me get this straight. The public is just finding out about this. People are showing up in droves saying no. And the land deal is already sitting there, ready to go. But sure, tell us again how this all just is early discussion. Now let's connect the dots a little further. Because Provident doesn't just magically appear out of nowhere. This same developer has ties to the outlet mall deal. You know, the one that never made sense to the citizens. The one loaded with tax abatements, incentives, and promises that somehow never quite add up. So now the question becomes, is this a pattern? Same players, same land deals, same economic development pitch, same outcome. Public pays, developers profit, officials get to smile and say growth. And speaking of growth, let's talk about the Hillsboro Economic Development Corporation and Megan Henderson for just a second. Because this is where the math stops mathing. You're telling residents we need to raise water rates. We need to raise trash rates. We need more revenue. But at the same time, you're handing out tax abatements. You're giving away land deals. You're subsidizing corporations. So here's the $1 million question. Where is the money going? Because it's definitely not going back into fixing water lines, stabilizing infrastructure, lowering utility bills. Nope. Citizens are getting higher bills, less reliable services, and more pressure just to stay in their homes, while someone else, somewhere else, is cashing in. And don't think people didn't notice. Multiple speakers called it out. You benefit from it, we pay for it. That's not conspiracy talk. That's people watching their town get sold off piece by piece. And here's the bigger picture nobody wants to say out loud. You've got land tied up in data center deals, the same developer tied to previous questionable projects, a city pushing aggressive expansion and annexation plans, and leadership that seems more focused on outside investment than inside survival. So ask yourself this. Is this about economic development? Or is this about inside land deals, prearranged contracts, and making sure the right people benefit before the public even knows what's happening? Because when meetings are moved, agendas are wrong, contracts already exist, and decisions feel pre-made, that's not transparency. That's damage control. And the people of Hillsboro, they showed up. They spoke out, and they made it clear. This town is not for sale. This land is not for exploitation. And this community is not going quietly. If you made it this far, you already know what's going on. So before you go, smash that like button, drop a comment, share this everywhere, and follow the channel for real-time updates and investigations as we continue exposing this corruption one video at a time. Because, as always, sunlight is the best disinfectant. I'm your boy BZ. This is BZ Watchdog News Network, and I'll catch you in the next video.
Tyranny, corruption, extortion. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. BZ Watchdog News Network. BZ Watchdog.